Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be taking you through an ab routine to help you get shredded just in time for the summer. This is week 18 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine, and for it, we are going to need a yoga mat to lay down on, and we're going to need a kettlebell. This is intended for intermediates. If you're a little bit more advanced, consider becoming a member because I have the entire 6-month program outlined in my community tabs. Before this one right over here, we're just going to be adding volume on top of last week's routine, and we're going to do all of the exercises in a supine position, meaning we're going to be laying down on our back. Then, with regard to this first exercise, it is the abdominal curl up. We're going to flex the knees so that our feet are nice and flat on the floor. We want our arms right by our sides. And then for this one right over here, we're going to initiate the movement by tucking the chin in, and then we're going to create a nice C-shaped curve by going into flexion of the thoracic and lumbar spine. And we want to try and round the spine as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead, tuck the chin in, and then we are going to come up, straighten up at the top, and then we're going to round the spine all the way down to the bottom. So touch the head to the ground, then we're going to tuck in the chin, lift the thoracic spine, then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all the way down, L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, thoracic spine, head down to the ground. We're going to do 2 sets of 40 repetitions, and then we're going to move on to the external obliques. For the external obliques, what we're going to do is we've got the legs in the same position. We're going to cross one arm over the shoulder. We're going to cross the opposite arm, go on a diagonal, so cross the midline, and we want the hand roughly mid-thigh, so between the patella and the iliac crest. And for this one, it's the supra-umbilical fiber, so we're only going to the level of the L3 or your umbilicus. We're going to be doing positive torsion, which is a combination of flexion with rotation. So imagine bringing your elbow toward your mid-thigh. And you only need to go to the level of the L3 for this exercise because it's the supra-umbilical fibers. We're going to be doing 2 sets of 30 repetitions. Then we're going to move on to the transverse abdominis strengthening exercise. For the transverse abdominis, we're going to do 3 sets. Each set is we're going to do 2 sets. Each set is going to be 3 repetitions. Each repetition is going to be 5 total passes. So what do I mean by 1 pass is we're going to inhale, raise the belly button up toward the sky. Exhale, let the belly button sink. That counts as 1 pass. Inhale, keep that belly button tucked in, don't let it raise. Exhale, try and sink deeper toward the spine. That's pass number 2. Inhale, keep that belly button tucked in. Exhale, let it sink. That's pass 3. We've got 2 more. Inhale. Keep that belly tucked in. Exhale. Try and sink deeper toward the spine. And we've got 1 more pass. Inhale. And exhale. Try and sink as deep as possible toward the spine. Once all 5 passes have been completed, we're going to reset. So inhale. Expand the belly and exhale. That counts as 1 repetition. We're going to do 2 total sets of 3 repetitions, each repetition being 5 passes. Then we're going to move on to the sub-umbilical work. For the sub-umbilical work, we're going to start with the sub-umbilical rectus abdominis. So we're going to flex the hips and knees to 90 degrees so that the thighs are perpendicular to the ground. We want the arms at the level of the glenohumeral angle, so between the 90 to 135 degrees, depending on your morphology. And for this one, what we're going to do is we are going to bring the knees up toward the sky, up to the level of the L3 or your umbilicus. With this exercise right over here, the first time you do it, you may not be able to get your hips up off the ground if you lack strength, but just have the intention of bringing your knees up toward the sky. And as you get stronger, you will be able to go all the way up. So just go straight up, and you want to make sure that you don't go into flexion of the hips or extension of the hips. You just want to keep the thighs perpendicular to the ground. And that is the strengthening exercise for the sub-umbilical fibers of the rectus abdominis. Next exercise is going to be the sub-umbilical fibers of the external obliques. And for it, what we're going to do is bring 1 hip toward 90 degrees. The opposite thigh, we're going to go into adduction, a deduction of 30 to 45 degrees by crossing the midline. And then for this one right over here, the arms are in the same position, and we're going into positive torsion once again by bringing the pelvis toward the opposite shoulder. So we're going to go to the level of the L3 by bringing the hips into a combination of flexion and rotation toward the opposite shoulder. And for that one, we are going to be doing 2 sets of 25 repetitions, and then we're going to finish off with 1 set of 20 repetitions of the thoracic diaphragm strengthening exercise. So you're going to place a kettlebell onto your umbilicus or your belly button. You're going to inhale, raise the belly button up toward the sky, exhale, let it sink down deep toward the belly. Inhale, raise the belly to the sky. Exhale, sink the belly deep down toward the spine. After 20 repetitions have been completed, that is it for week 18 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine. And as a quick recap, we have the abdominal curl up first. We have two sets of 40 repetitions. Then we have 2 sets of 40 repetitions for the supra-umbilical external oblique. 2 sets of 25 repetitions. We have another 2 sets of 2 sets of 3 repetitions for the transverse abdominis strengthening exercise. 2 sets of 20 repetitions for the sub-umbilical rectus abdominis, where we're bringing the knees up toward the sky. And then we have the sub-umbilical external oblique exercise. 2 sets, 25 repetitions. And then we're going to finish off with 1 set of 20 repetitions for the thoracic diaphragm strengthening exercise. But that is it for week 18 of the 6 months to shredded abs routine. And then next week, I'm going to be taking you through week 19.